All right. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is a children's book. It was written by an author named Charlie Mackesy, and it follows the journey of these four characters that become sudden and unlikely friends. The author says whether you're 8 or 80, you'll love the book because there is something in it for everyone. He covers topics of vulnerability, hope, love, friendship through these characters on their journey. The first character that we meet is the little boy. He is all alone until one day he meets a mole who's obsessed with cake. Soon after they meet, the boy and the mole are sitting on a tree branch, and the mole looks at the boy and says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" After a pregnant pause, the boy looks at him and says, "Kind." In 2019, I packed up all of my belongings and I stuffed them into the back of my Buick Encore and hit the road. I was moving from Mississippi, where I had graduated college a few months earlier, back to Delaware for 2 weeks, just a stopping point in my own journey. Fast forward through a devastating loss, a breakup, and a pandemic. Those 2 weeks very quickly turned into 4 years, just in the blink of an eye. "Sometimes I feel lost," said the boy. "Me too," said the mole. My hometown has a bad reputation, to say the least. We are consistently ranked as one of the most dangerous small American cities. We are spotlighted in the news for the worst reasons, and one news outlet affectionately gave us the nickname of Murder Town, USA. We unfortunately earned that nickname because the ratio of murder per capita is one of the highest that we see in the country. But that statistic doesn't tell the whole story. No, instead, if we actually look at all Part 1 offenses, that's the category that includes murder, rape, robbery, burglary, and aggravated assault. We see 65.6 offenses per 1,000 residents. And that's a number we're proud of because before COVID, that number was almost to 80. So when a woman asked me if I would help, naturally I had some reservations. The mole said, according to the old moles he knew, he wished they had paid less attention to their fears. The mole said, everyone is a bit scared, but we are less scared together. The organization I was asked to help was a mobile shower and laundry unit. They offered these services to anyone who needed it. And the beauty of it is that since it's on wheels, they are able to go into the parts of the community that needed them instead of expecting the community to come to them. That also means that they routinely would go to some of the toughest parts of town. When you first volunteer, they give you the role of sign in or check in. When the guests walk up, you ask them if they're interested in a shower or laundry service or both. You write their name on the board, you transfer it to a big whiteboard in the order in which you received them, and you go on to the next guest. After about an hour, everything has gotten rolling, and they've already signed in, which means the check-in person really has a lot of time to spend with the guests, either speaking with them and sitting with them, or retrieving hygiene supplies, a fresh pair of socks, or a clean pair of underwear to anyone who requests it. That day, a woman came with her almost 2-year-old son. He was strapped in the stroller, all of their belongings stored underneath. And the axle on the stroller was either bent or broken. So as they walked down the road, They would teeter back and forth on an already bumpy sidewalk. And as almost any 2-year-old does, he was itching to get out of this stroller, to be free and walk around. And you could tell that the mom was wiped out. She was practically falling asleep on her feet. The more time that passed, the more he was ready to get out. And boy, was he making that known. And eventually she relented, unstrapped the buckles. And sure enough, he took off like a rocket, running around, scoping the place out. And anytime she would catch him or redirect him, he would cry. That day, she had the choice between clean clothes or the safety of her child. Foregoing laundry meant that she would have to wait at least another week until the opportunity came around again. So, since I had some time on my hands, I offered to help her watch him so she could take care of some other things. And we were running around, dancing to the music that was playing, just generally being goofballs, until he started to wander towards the road. I wasn't paying attention to what had interested him to start to walk away, but once I scooped him up in my arms, I had a chance to take a look. He was following a man that was sadly suffering very clearly from substance abuse disorder, one who unknowingly was walking into oncoming traffic. So here we are, 2 years after the first day, and I'm doing outreach to those experiencing homelessness at least once a week. Fortunately, I'm able to report that the man is okay. We were actually able to send him to a rehab facility as well. But why did I go back? Well, first, I have a personal rule that I have to try something 3 times before I'm allowed to make an opinion about whether I do or do not like something. One that when I'm not in the middle of, I think is a very wonderful rule, and one that I'm usually frustrated with once I'm only on day 1 or 2 of something. But I find that 3 is that magic number to get past my nerves and try something new. 3 allows me also to be familiar with what to expect. Volunteer work grounds me. It serves as a reminder that there is a much bigger picture. As a diagnosed workaholic, that's very helpful. It also helps me remember that there's always a way to help. There are many things that volunteering has taught me, but there are 3 big things that are now pillars of both my personal and professional life. The first is that you should listen more than you speak. So often in conversation, we are rushing to find this point of commonality. We want to say, oh, me too. And yeah, I like that. Sadly, I think also as a broader society, there's also an undertone of rushing to find disagreement. But what if we stopped rushing altogether? We stopped treating conversations with someone like they're a mystery to be solved and simply offered an ear to listen. We are living in the most connected world, and yet people are lonelier than ever. The characters in the book often just sit together. They don't have all the answers, but they're present. Second is that we can't help everyone, but you can help someone. I prefer to choose depth over breadth every day. I would rather serve one person exceptionally well. These past few years, I've decided to build something real with my family, my friends, and my clients. And I find that that's how I actually help, how I could build a business that mattered. When I'm not stretched thin chasing the next client, I have the energy for the relationships that sustain me. That works in business, but it's also one that's serving me quite well in life. Lastly, whatever business you're in, you're really in the people business. As a marketer by trade, a huge principle in messaging is to focus on your ideal client, not yourself. In practice, that looks like an over-reliance on deliverables or telling your story. Michael Faber is the best at explaining this, so I'll try and do it justice. But the moment that you center yourself, you lose the person in front of you. People don't connect to your process or your tools or even your story as much as they connect to being understood. And when you remember that there's a person on the other side of every decision, you don't just build a better business, you build trust. And trust is one of the things that lasts. So I'd like to close today with some of my other favorite quotes from the book. "Nothing beats kindness," said the horse. "Kindness sits quietly beyond all things." "Sometimes," said the mole, "the tiniest act of kindness can save a life." "What do you think success is?" asked the boy. "To love," said the mole. The horse, after a horrific storm, said, "When the big things in life feel out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose." The boy asked, "What's the bravest thing you've ever said?" "Help," said the horse. "And help is not giving up, it's refusing to give up." The boy said, "I think you believe in me more than I do." And the horse replied, "You'll catch up." "Sometimes," said the horse. "Sometimes what?" asked the boy. "Sometimes just getting up and carrying on is brave and magnificent." And the book ends with these words. "I've realized why we're here," said the boy. "For cake?" asked the mole. "To love," said the boy. "And to be loved," said the horse.